It's Tuesday, October 11th. Welcome to the National Outlook on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 and 99.5 FM. I'm GHK Lall. I trust that you had a good, long, quiet, safe weekend and you're ready for the shortened work and school week now. I have to bring up something that occurred last week that was very, very disturbing. It involved a young man named Samuel Granum, who was a student at the Ghana Technical Institute, GTI. And he was beaten very savagely at the bus park, I think on Crowell Street. And he died later from his blows. His skull was fractured in two places. He had broken ribs and he had cuts. This man was beaten with a baseball bat, a hockey stick, and other implements of violence. He was with a friend at the bus park, a crowded place on a weekday, a work day, a regular day. Crowded place, mind you. And a handful of men came and essentially killed him. To think, and then they went away in a waiting car. So clearly this was well planned. And they were waiting for him, and they got to him, and they got him. What is harrowing about this is it was not at night, it was not in some remote place, it was right in the middle of town. In what I would call the busiest part of town, because you've got so many people, men, women, children, workers, students, shoppers in that area. And still something like this could happen. That a man could be beaten to death. He didn't die immediately right there, but he died shortly afterwards. I think it was a couple of days later. And he's left behind a very grieving family. Whatever the reason, money, a girl, some jilted party, some party that was taken advantage of, we don't know at this point. And it's not enough for things to deteriorate to this stage of brutality, of lawlessness. This is not even disorderliness anymore. This is utter criminality, wanton criminality, my brothers and sisters. And I'm asking myself, and I bring this up, because I'm asking, where is this country heading? Thankfully, we don't have these happening every day. But once is more than enough. One Samuel Granum, a 19-year-old student, is more than enough. We're a small society, and unless we have some regard and respect for each other, some respect for the law, then I shudder to think where we are going. Yes, the young are hot-blooded, and they are impatient, and they lack self-control, but there is so much more at work here. Are our citizens taking the law into their own hands? Are our fellow Guyanese imitating our leaders in their own lawlessness, white-collar lawlessness, except that the lawlessness that we see and encounter on the street in robberies and violence is about violence and is about bandits and attackers brutalizing others. Is this an extension of the lawlessness that resides at the top of this society? When we look on in horror at those who do not have any regard for the structures and the institutions and the rules that should operate and govern our society. Whenever these things happen, it's sobering, it's eye-opening, and it's frightening. In that I ask myself, with gambling and foreigners coming here and oil, where are we going? Yes, one murder does not make a country, but on the other hand, like I said, one is more than enough. It is enough to make me sit back and say, do I really want to be here? And do you really want to be anywhere in the city or in this country? I'm GHK Lall on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening to the National Outlook.